Check, check, check. Stream is on. Stream is off. That looks like it's on. Am I going to hear a feedback loop? Check, check. Hello, hello. All right, we're live. And checking the YouTube. Okay. We good. Streaming. Excuse me. Twitch. Excuse me. Sorry. I don't know if anybody's here. You're hearing me cough. 1 second. All right, I'm back. For posterity, I'm going to be doing a couple of videos this morning on how to use the Blender pipeline that I made. Check, check, check. I'm back. I'm back. I'm going to do a quick recording test just to make sure this is not completely screwed up. Output MP4 MKV. Nah. Okay, whatever, that's fine. I don't think I can change that after I've started streaming, so we'll just see if this looks and sounds all right. I don't know where that's saved. Oh, right here it looks like. Okay, cool. I think that's all good. Don't think anyone's here. That's okay. We'll see if people come in, and if people have questions, people can ask me questions. And we can go from there. So let me put that off to the side. Don't need that. Don't need that. Cool. Maybe I will advertise this on the Godot Cafe. Hey folks, special stream this morning. We'll go over some stuff for the which some of you may have seen recently. All right, I think I'm ready. I think I am ready. So I would like to show a couple more features of the Blender Godot Pipeline. One thing I didn't get to do in the previous video was talk about compound collision shapes. So I think compound collisions are a super useful feature. I'm not going to go over setting up the whole add-on here in this video. I'm just going to show you how to use some of the features. If you haven't set up the add-ons, you're going to need to go back to the last video, and I will link that above. But compound collision shapes, or compound primitive collisions is really what they are, is very, very useful for keeping the collisions in the engine as simple as possible. So for instance, let's say you had a shape like this, you know, as ugly as it is. Let's assume you had a shape like this. And in fact, I don't really like where this is. Let's draw this back, if I can remember how to use Blender, which sometimes I forget. So let's bring this back to here. I don't know, it's some weird shaped object. We don't need this. We don't need this. We'll get rid of that. So obviously, if I just try to throw a box collision on this, so we can set a box collision, I'll set up my export path. Just gotta find the project path. This one, assets. So I'm just gonna make a new test scene. So let's call this compound collisions.gltf. We'll save that. Export. I think you probably know what this is going to look like. It's just going to be a box that wraps the whole thing, which is not really what we want, right? So we can see it here. We have a collision shape that wraps around the whole, the whole mesh. All right, so how do we do better? First pass, you could do, the lazy way is to just use a convex collision. So we can use convex. That's not going to work either. So let's try convex. And we notice we get this like stair step on the side. And that's because convex wraps to the exterior geometry. And then finally, we can do a tri-mesh. Now, tri-mesh, this is mentioned in the Blender documentation. It works. It looks pretty well optimized as well, so kudos to Godot for a really good implementation. I just see a couple, collision triangles there. I'm not seeing any excessive collision triangles, but this shape is harder for the engine to deal with. It doesn't matter if it's Jolt or Godot native, and I think Jolt is native now in 4.5, but we can do better than this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to a not have any collision shape. And first of all, I want to show you what this looks like when you change the collision shape to none and we hit set and export. What we literally get is just a static body and a cube. So what we want to do is we want to create a series of compound collision shapes. All right, so let's do that. The easiest way in Blender is to select different faces. Let me turn on screencast keys, which I don't have installed on this version, so stand by. On the recording, there won't be any gap here, but get extensions, screencast. Okay, allow access. Okay. Is this not a thing? Where do I get screencast keys? Keys. Screencast keys. Nope, that's not it. Repository alert. Okay. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, just needed a refresh. We're going to install this. And cool, that looks good. And then it's not running though, so we need to turn it on. I would like it to turn on at startup, but I always forget how to do that. There's no option here for it. Okay. All right, whatever. It's on. So screencast keys is now on, so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to select just this part here. We're going to duplicate and separate by selection. So, you know, it might seem a little weird, but what we're doing is we're just extracting the geometry to make the collision shapes. Okay, so we can do the same thing with the other shape. And honestly, you only need like a skeleton of the geometry. If I just Shift D this part, you can see this is not really the whole geometry, but that's fine, right? We're just using the geometry to wrap a collision. So now we have these two things, which clearly this is not even a full piece of geometry, but I'll show you how this works. So I'll probably hide the parent right now, and we'll press N to get it back into the pipeline. And what I'll do here is I'll set this as a box shape with no body. Okay, so box shape, no body, box shape, no body, and set. And we can export this as well, but it's not going to be exactly what I want. But I'm just kind of doing this in steps to show you how the pipeline works. We've generated the collision shapes, and they seem to be correct in terms of their location. But what we need to do is we need to parent them. So the add-on supports some level of parenting. It's not infinite recursive, but it supports a certain level of parenting. So we can actually, if I hold Control and then click on cube, we can go Control P, parent to object, and now we can see this parent cube is, it's parent to those two collision shapes. So now what we get is basically a static body that contains two collision shapes, two primitive collisions, and I promise you this is the most efficient way to generate this. Obviously, inside the editor, this would be a big pain to try to create these collision shapes, but this is another way that the add-on is used. I did use this method very recently in Bushcraft Survival. There's a video on it that you can check out. I can't remember if it was a video or stream, but you can check that out. But the point here is that you can rapidly do this, right? Yes, it becomes a little bit annoying if we bring out another face, then of course, and I export that, it's not going to automatically find that shape. But we know now that it's very easy just to do, select faces around this loop. We can do Shift D, P, and we can you drag? No, that's not how that works. We can just do, we can parent, and then we just need to set the shape. So box and none. And I want to show you that the shapes are very general. So you can do some weird stuff too. Like for instance, if I wanted to, I don't know, on this vertical one, what if we wanted this to be like a cylinder? You can do that. There's nothing There's nothing preventing you from doing it, but look what happens inside Godot, right? So now we get a cylinder for this interior shape for that, that geometry. So I don't know why you would want to do that, but it is something you can do. We can do like convex. If you want to use convex collisions, then that will work as well. And you can see we have a box, a convex shape here, and then another box shape here. So you can use any combination of shapes, any combination of bodies. If we want to change this to an area 3D, that's very easy to do. We can come over here, press area 3D, export, and that changes right away. So hopefully you see how it's useful. I do get, on every video, I usually get at least one comment where somebody is saying like, you know, Godot already does this. It already does this. And like, yes and no. I mean, the people who've been working on the GLTF extensions have been working really hard to try to get the like conformity in the standard, but we're still not there yet. There's still not a way to get every possible permutation of body as well as collision shape just in Blender. So that's why I made the pipeline. I made it because I was encountering this issue and I wanted to be able to author all of my stuff in Blender. So hopefully that goes without saying. I wish I had a better example. I might have an example I can pull out maybe in another video for something more complicated. But generally, this is the workflow you're going to want to do. Let me think if I can come up with something else. Like, imagine if there is, I don't know, what's a good example? Like some kind of archway, right? And if there's like a pedestal here, and then it goes up, and then maybe it goes over across the top. And for some reason, you need all of this represented, right? I don't know why you would, but let's assume you do. Let's turn on. Oh, I don't have any of my add-ons in this version of Blender, so bear with me. Here's another one that's pretty good. You should get auto or mirror. Auto mirror? Is it an extension? I don't know why they changed some things to be extensions and some things to be add-ons. I'm not really sure the deal there. I guess the extensions come from the Blender's repository. So, but we can mirror this now. So we can mirror across, I'm actually going to shift it first. Mirror across Y, I think. No, mirror across X. Uh-oh. I'm doing things destructively here. Let's just use the mirror modifier. There we go. That's all I wanted. And let's do this. And let's merge them. Clipping, no, merging. It's not showing me the merge, but I think that just needs to be tighter. Yeah, weird. Okay, so let's say you had something like this. Let's apply that. Let's get rid of this interior loop, which, why can't I dissolve this? Is there a face? Oh, there's a face in there. Okay, so let's say you had something like this. I don't know. For some reason, you want this to all be modeled properly with primitives. It would be a pain to do this inside Godot. So it's the same deal, right? We can go to the add-on, set this as a static body, and I don't know. Let's look at a different workflow. Let's look at, I don't know, what's a more realistic one? So I might want to use a mixture of convex shapes and primitive shapes. That might be best, right? So let's set up the body type. So we're going to go no collision shape, but static body 3D set. And what I think makes sense here is we can take this geometry, duplicate, separate, parent it. So that's kind of the workflow. So we do all that. And I'd parent that in the wrong order. It is annoying to try to parent things in the right order. I think in the outliner is probably the easiest way to do it by holding control. And then we can do a box with no body. That is all good. But these two, we might want to do something else. We might want to, let's go back into wireframe and duplicate that, separate, duplicate, separate. You might say to yourself, well, I don't really care about having a collision that wraps around this edge, but let's say you wanted a collision. We can do both of these at once, by the way. We can do convex. So let's say we did no body, but these were convex, and set that. So let's control, select, and parent. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. So if you want to do something like that, that's perfectly possible as well, right? We've got that top header, which is a primitive, and then the other two are convex. That would still be very, very efficient for the engine to deal with, much more so than tri-mesh, okay? So this is a good workflow. I do use it myself all the time. So yeah, I hope that's good. I'm probably going to cut this video off here. I'm going to do some other videos on multi-mesh and maybe nav mesh. We'll see. But let me know what you think, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. All right, so this is meta. We're making content on stream. I was wondering if anyone would pop in and say hi. No one so far, I don't think. Either that or my chat is broken. Hard to tell. But I think, yeah, I think it's just me here. So I just want to check to see this video roughly makes sense. I'm so serious in my videos. Oh my god. That's okay. It's all right. Hello. I don't know why the text is so small. I can't read. Not Pepino. I'm doing some videos this morning. So I'm trying to decide what else I should do. I was making some collision shapes and stuff inside Blender. I was going to do rotations. I'm not sure if I got to that. Let's see. Maybe rotations is something that some people can just figure out for themselves. It is pretty whack that all these rotations work. It's confusing at times, especially when the origin is modified. So I think this all works pretty good. Yeah. Because the weird thing is that this primitive shape doesn't have the same origin as the main mesh. The main mesh origin is down here, but the primitive origin is up here. So there's a lot of like really kooky math that needs to be involved to do that. So what I might do another video just explaining that. All right, so in the last short video, I talked about compound collisions and how you can go from a shape like this to a shape like this. And let me just reset some things here. If that wants to reload. What I also didn't mention, but I do want to show, is that the pipeline also handles rotations and translation. So it sounds simple, and it is in a sense. So if we export that, all your collision shapes in geometry do follow the whatever rotation you use. But just to kind of describe the problem, I did a YouTube short on this way back trying to explain the math involved. The pipeline does handle a lot of the math under the hood. And if you're curious why it's a bit of a complicated operation, the static body itself has the same transform as the mesh. That's kind of fundamentally how it works. Whatever the parent mesh, whatever the origin of the parent mesh is, the static body will have that as well. But things get weirder when you get into the primitive collisions because this primitive collision needs to have the rotation. So this has the same rotation as the mesh. So it has, the minus or the 27.6 degrees on the x-axis, but it has a different translation. You'll notice its origin is at a different location. So I don't need to bore you with the details, I guess. The simple thing you can realize is that you can rotate that parent body however you want, and then those primitive collisions will move with it. So let's see, what else do we see here? So the static body will never have any rotation. The mesh should have rotation, and then I believe we'll see rotation on this guy, as well as the other two. So these have rotations, but because the origin point of these two objects is the same as the origin point there, then it's good. I believe convex collisions It's been a while since I've actually, coded this. Convex collisions in Godot, when you set those up, those can have the same origin as the mesh because, internally Godot is just finding the external geometry and wrapping to it. But anyways, all this to say, you will notice that your primitive collisions don't have the same origin, nor is it possible for them to have the same origin. If they had the same origin, it would be down here somewhere, right? So once again, this is just another tiny little thing that the add-on does. If you're curious why this is useful, like I said, I do get some comments every now and then where people were like, oh, the import hints do that. The import hints do not do this. This is an extra layer of functionality that just makes it easier to import stuff. All right, how long was that one? Was my mic on? I hope my mic was on. 2 minutes. All right, I'm getting better. I'm trying to do shorter videos. I've been told that shorter videos are better for people. Okay, I want to do something next, but I think I need to play with it a bit first. I want to do multi-mesh. As I want to show all the different ways that you can instance things using the pipeline. So there's multi-mesh, we can try the Blender GeoNodes thing too. But first I want to get some stuff. I want to get some assets. Let's try to find an asset. Let's go to Sketchfab. Am I going to be logged in here? I don't know. We'll see. Whoa, that's bright. That's bright. No, I'm not logged in. 1 second, sorry. Let's go to Sketchfab over here. Maybe this will be logged in. Okay, yeah. I'm logged in. So let's look for a tree. Let's look for a tree model. That's kind of cool. Trees and foliage. I would need the right license. I want this to be open source. CC by attribution, CCO, CC by ND. Cool. Now let's research. Or does it update automatically? I think it does. Low poly tree scene free. Wow. Okay. Is that really low poly? This looks better than my game. Maybe I should yoink some of these trees for my game. It's hard in bushcraft survival because I want the trees to be procedural. I want you to be able to like hack off every branch, which is not always feasible. Like if you look at how these trees are structured. But let's, we can't download this. Link for the free assets. Oh, interesting. Get it on Fab, but it's free. Download 3D model. Interesting. We're just going to download it and ignore all that Fab stuff. I don't really need that anymore. So maybe we can just delete hierarchy here. And I am kind of obsessive about Blender's internal file. So I often delete things because I get annoyed that things just pile up in Blender. So I have this thing. I guess it's still downloading. Oh, how big is this? Oh, 24 megs. It's just real slow. All right, we will wait. 4.5 what is this Blender version? 4.5.3. Latest Blender and latest Godot are tested. 4.5 stable are tested and everything looks good. Cool, cool, cool. What am I doing here? I forget what I'm doing. I'm downloading a thing. I don't understand why this is so slow. I'm a little confused. My internet is not this bad. Is it because I'm streaming? Could be because I'm streaming. That's mostly an upload thing, not a download. I guess it's bandwidth. All right. Okay. Cool. Cool. That went to my downloads folder. Maybe I need a little folder for this. Let's do Gamedev videos pipeline. Let's do multi-mesh. What I want to cover is like what are the ways that you can instance a thing? That's what I want to do. And let's actually save this. So let's save this as in here somewhere, videos, multi-mesh, or let's call this instancing.blend, instancing test.blend. And I'm going to change this to instancing test.gltf. Oh no, go back. Okay. Instancing test. Cool. All right. I may start recording in a sec. I'm trying to debate if I should test it first. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it, but we might need to clean up the model first. So actually, you know what? I will clean up the model first, because I don't need to do that on stream or on the... Don't need to do that on the thingy. Import GLTF. Oh, hey, it was right where I needed it to be. How cool. I'm excited to see what's in this scene, actually. Holy crap. Okay. Hello. How many polys are these trees? What do we got here? I really need to learn how to do trees better. This makes me realize I'm woefully underprepared for the world and of trees rendering. Oh, these are our modules over here. Is this what this is? That's our scene on the right, and then here's our little tree modules. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of this crap. Boop. Delete. And now Blender crashes. Awesome. Great. And let's scooch these over. I hate how Sketchfab has all these empty parents as all this crap. So I think I want to... their origins are good. I like the origins. Clear parent. No. Clear parent and keep... I don't want to keep transformation. See, this is the thing that's annoying. Let's zero out the position. It is zeroed. How is it zeroed? How is it zeroed? Why does it do that? Oh, here we go. Okay, that works better. So we're just going to clear the parents, keep transforms, set to 0. Clear the parents, keep transforms, set to 0. I want to do like geometry nodes, maybe. But I also need to do a little bit of research because I forget how to like scatter things with geometry nodes. Cool. All right, let's get rid of this crap. Delete. And the big question is, do these use separate materials? I don't know. That's grass. So let's label this. Let's call this grass small. I am neurotic about Blender names as well. If you haven't noticed, there's something probably wrong with me. Grass small. They use the same material. Cool. Grass large. So we're going to rename that material to just be grass, which is sane. Grass large. Okay, cool. What's this? Okay, this is the big tree. And bark. Okay, bark and leaves are separate. So this is big tree trunk. And this is big tree leaves. Cool. And this is little tree, small tree. I guess my naming convention is kind of crappy here. So tree, big, leaves. Tree, big trunk. And we will copy that for consistency. And the last one we need to do is these two. Tree, small, trunk. And tree, small, leaves. Cool. All right. We have a beautiful little kit now. I kind of want to parent these, but I don't know if that's necessary. I feel like I should parent these. Yeah, let's parent. Cool. So now we just have that is a thing that I can manipulate. Let's do... Why is that zoom so insane? How big is this? This is 3 feet tall? What the hell? Okay, I think this should be 20 feet tall, which is how many meters? Like 5 meters? How tall is a tree in meters? How tall is the average tree in meters? Okay, let's do 5 meters. I think that's 15 feet. So this needs to go all the way up to, this is really small. And let's apply scale. Why does it, I don't know why it goes to quaternion. I think, let's apply rotation as well. I don't want any of that weirdness. None of that weirdness, please. Let's hide that. That's, oh, now it's too big. Now it's 7 meters. How'd I get all the way to 7? So we want it to be around 5 meters as our baseline. Okay. All right, that's cool. So it's one thing that's annoying. Like when you hide a parent, I feel like the child should hide as well, but I digress. Let's parent those. All right. And now I need to do the same thing. I need to apply, let's apply all transforms. Do it in one shot. Change that to Euler. And then the big tree should be bigger. Let's make this one 6 meters. And maybe this one should be smaller. Yeah, well, you know what? It's not big and small. They're like different types of trees, kind of. But I think this works. I think it works. Am I just streaming at an ungodly hour and I can't find people to Oh, okay. Hey Turkheim. I don't know why, but your thing I didn't see your comment on my stream. Oh, it just came in. Yeah, it's super annoying that like I am neurotic about keeping mesh names because when you bring it into Godot, it appends the object and the mesh name. So I hate it when it just has like cube.001. That's probably a reflection of my own issues, but impacts how I make games, definitely. It would be awesome if you could just sync the object and mesh name, especially when you're working with a modular kit and they are the same. I haven't done any instancing yet, so why would I want them to be different? Also annoying that they don't hide at the same time, but I digress. So the grass is cool, that's fine, but it's still way, way, way too small. Let's do a little apply all. And this should be like, what? This should be 3 feet tall. Sure, this is big grass. Or, I don't know. Yeah, let's start with 1 meter as a baseline here. That's kind of tall. Let's go to 0.8. I'm doing this the stupid way. I'm just holding shift and praying. And okay, this one's even smaller. Okay, so this works out, I think. So we're gonna go control. Oh nope, scale, rotation and scale, and we're gonna make this. I don't know, 1 meter. Sure, we just got some baselines. We're gonna probably change all these scales anyways. So here is our kit. What I want to learn how to do before I record a video talking about how this works with the pipeline is I need to remind myself in geometry nodes how the heck you actually, how do you like scatter things? Like I know how to instance things on a mesh, but how do you scatter them? I think you probably use a random, if you struggle with metrics, I think you can write in 1 feet. Believe it or not, as a Canadian, I do most things in metric. I'm just that's not quite true. We still use feet and inches for a lot of things, but I try to stay in metric as much as I can. Maybe it's a point of national pride. I don't know. But yes, you can change the units. Although, admittedly, I've never done that. All right, so I know you can do stuff like, I don't know, take this for instance. I know that we can create a set of geometry nodes where we could create a plane, we can make this plane bigger, we can subdivide this plane a bunch, I probably should have just done subdivide, but whatever. And we can add a geometry node to this to instance on points. I know that. I've done that. That's all normal. So I think it goes instance on points. So the points are, how does this work? I need to get the object. Object. That's not, I need to get geometry, I think. Geometry? Object? Object info? There we go. So we can select our plane, we can do geometry, we can go points, we can do instance, we can go like that. And it looks really weird, probably because I did something wrong. Let's check this out. What are my scales at? Interesting. I don't really know why I did that. Oh, it's because the scale of this guy wasn't set. So classic scale not set issue. So scale, I'm also going to set rotation, scale, and rotation. Okay, let's try that again. Yeah, and it's always just going to be based on the origin of wherever this is, right? So that's kind of the weird things we get. It goes based on the origin of this, which is, I don't know, it's whatever. It's fine. It's neither here nor there. But how do I actually, like, disperse it? I don't remember how to do that. So maybe we go on a little YouTube. Can you watch YouTube on stream? I don't know. I'm new to streaming. How does this work? If my face is on it, maybe we're good. So geometry nodes. Scatter objects. That's all I want. Simple request. I guess people do React videos. I don't want to react. I want to learn. I want to absorb. All right. This is probably still the same. Let's watch the CG Essentials and see what cool and exciting things we can learn.
Value. Start with AI enhanced animation.
What's up, guys? Justin here with the CGEssentials.com. So it's been
this is this guy, the What's Up Guys guy.
Tutorials. I wanted to make a quick tutorial teaching you how to scatter objects on a surface in 2023. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so geometry nodes can be a little bit intimidating, so don't worry about that. We're going to approach this in a way where it's easy to follow, and I'm going to go step by step. So first thing you need to do is you need to add a window where you can actually control your geometry nodes. So we're just going to click on the Add Workspace button over here, just the plus.
Oh, that's built in now. We just have geometry nodes as is.
Window. And so what that's going to do,
no extra steps.
Workspace. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a workspace that's kind of set up so that we can work with geometry nodes. And so what we want to do,
I feel like all I need to do is put a random value in and kind of disperse them. But we'll see what he says.
Is we want to take some objects and we want to scatter them on this plane. So we'll talk about a couple different ways to do that and some ways to randomize those in this video. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to select our plane and we need to click down here to add a new geometry node setup.
Yep.
And so when these come in with an input and an output. And we're not going to worry too much about those, though we are going to add some inputs. Those are what's going to show up over here on the right-hand side of the page where you can make adjustments. But what we
the particle system, what's that?
Is we need to start...
like Blender's, this thing, is it? Or this? I have never used this. This is a giant blind spot for me. I have no idea what this does. I think I've used add-ons that were for hair at one point, but once again, I still had no idea what was happening. I hate this when the view is not locked. I need to lock this to the 3D cursor. I'm losing my mind rotating around this scene. Okay. I don't really love this either, but whatever, it's fine. Camera to view. It's like the rotation is just like, I want it to pivot about the 3D cursor. Why is it so hard to do that in Blender? Okay. But yeah, I have no idea how to use particles. Wouldn't even know where to begin. I suspect it means creating something like this and then doing some stuff and then actually doing like object emit or something. But I honestly don't know. So we're going to stick to the good old geometry nodes.
By just adding some points, right? So we need to have this. So we need to take our geometry nodes. They need to reference this surface, and we need to add some points to our surface. So the way that we're going to do that is we're just going to click in here. We're going to do a Shift-A, and we're just going to search for distribute points on faces.
Oh, okay. We don't need to make our own. We don't need to make our own thingies. I'm just gonna do the fly-through camera because the Blender thing is driving me absolutely nuts. So we don't need to have this be subdivided. We can get rid of that. This is not the most efficient way to do this. This is how I'm doing it. All right, so we're back to a good old quad. Okay, interesting. But we want to do this distribute points on surface thing. Let's do distribute points on faces. Oh, neat. Okay, all right. The density is much too high. Cool. All right, that's going to be good enough for me. I wish the origin was fixed, but maybe it's just because the origin of this isn't. So if we set the origin of this to there, okay, then we get this. Yeah, that works. Okay, so this is grass small. So can I just apply the same geometry node to this thing? And let's make this plane bigger. Let's make that bigger, but let's do it this way. Let's look at this in material preview. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I mean, we can't really sculpt it if it's flat, so like that doesn't help us super too much. But we can do, I guess, stuff like this. It's kind of neat. Somewhat neat, somewhat fun. We've got our own little terrain here. Homebrew. Sure, why not? That's kind of cool. Now the question is, can I just add the same geometry node to that? Or is it going to get horribly messed up? I want to control the density. I want a parameter for density. Isn't that a thing you can do? You can do... How do I do parameters? Parameter, input, value, input constant value. I want to put in density. No, I want a named attribute. Let's go with named attribute. Name is density. Neat. No, I want to create a named attribute. Why can't I do that? No, I can't do that. Attribute. Store named attribute. Capture attribute. No. Store named attribute. Group input. Group input. Okay. All right. We're going to Google geometry nodes. How to make parameter. Plug it in group input or pressing N. Drag density into blank of group input. Oh, okay. Did I just miss a step? Group input. Drag density into... Where am I dragging this? Oh. That didn't do anything. Oh, here it is. No, yeah, it's good. It's good. Neat. Okay, cool. Thank you. That works. So let's, because this is kind of a large number of instances, which is fine. I mean, they're planes. There's not that much geometry. And it's going to be instanced. So I want to show how it can be done. Let's play with this. So, and then this one. Yeah, you want the large one to be more, maybe, because it's going to occupy more space. And then the small one we can kind of, I don't know, play with. So then I can do, I want this to be bigger. I want this to be a whole field. It would be cool if you could use vertex colors to mask it. I'm just getting onto a level that I don't want to get into for this video. But whatever, we're just going to make a tiny little scene here. So let's bring in the tree. This guy is going to put a geo node on here. That's funny. Is this because of... Oh, no, it's just because... There's a scale thing happening again, is it? Yeah, I didn't apply the scale. Got to apply that scale. The world's smallest terrain. Let's, yeah, let's make this bigger. Cool. And this is too many trees because we're going to blow up my GPU. That's a more reasonable number of trees. And let's do... I don't want to see the plane. Let's just put viewport... let's put viewport wired. There we go. Although, that's kind of ugly too. Let's go to shading. All right, we got something that's kind of looking like something. You know what would be better? if I actually gave this a material, because this is like hurting my eyeballs to look at. So let's do textured. I just need a good old ambient CG. Ambient CG. Let's just find a ground material, PBR. Let's find a good old. I just want ground. Like, do I want it to be dark? I think I want it to be kind of brownish, like kind of like this maybe. Let's get 2K and let's bring this into our little folder here. Oops. Extract. Do. Do I want ambient occlusion? You know what? We're going to try it. We're going to try ambient occlusion. As much as I hate setting it up, we're going to try it. Because Blender makes that a giant pain for some reason. You have to do like a GLTF export. So let's do a new material. Let's name this the ground. And I'm just going to, once again, OCD taking over. Control-Shift-T. Oh, I don't have that, so this is another add-on I need. What's it called? It's called Power. Nope. It's called Quick something. Oh, what am I looking for? Node Wrangler. Thank you. What would I do without you guys here? It's not in extensions. Where is it? Is it in add-ons? Wrangler. There we go. All right, so we're going to put in these. And I can't remember. It does not know how to do ambient occlusion, which is super annoying. Color? Yeah. I hate this. I hate this thing. But there's like a GLTF... how to export ambient occlusion from GLTF inside Blender. It's something about you gotta make a group with an input and then I have a video on this. I've done this before. I forget how to do it. Ambient occlusion. Yeah. GLTF settings, occlusion. Oh my God. GLTF settings. And you got to spell everything correctly. And we got to add a parameter. How do I go? I want to go back. Okay. We have to add an input. And we need to call set input. Group sockets. Input. It's a float. Is it a float? No, it's a color. Is it a color? Wait. Is there just like a... Why don't they have just like an occlusion thing? No, I don't want that because I don't care how it looks in Blender. I think I literally just need to make an input called occlusion. And I think it's a color. Maybe it's a float. No, it's a float. According to that, it's gray. It's a float. Yeah, because it's a single channel, right? It's a single channel. Duh. Okay. I think that's it. I can't remember if you need to do this or not. No, I don't think you do. Does it just say finds an input named occlusion? It will look for... Okay. Neat. Thank you, Blender, for making this so easy. All right. We have a ground texture. That UV map is hilarious. Let's do cube. Pray to the Blender gods. Okay, so that's not exactly right. Let's scale this up. Gotta love repeating textures. All right, we're gonna call that good enough. So grass, small grass, tree. The trees are on there. And the tree leaves. I have to add the tree leaves. Now, here's the tricky part. It needs to have the exact same parameter. It has the same seed, so it should work. It should work. As long as the density is the same. And the scale is applied. The scale is not applied. Oh, God. Oh, God. Uh-oh. 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 Laptop is... I wouldn't be surprised if the stream is lagging right now. Okay. Better. Let's do 0.01. Okay. How come this... Does that work? Yeah, it works. Blender is lagging, though. Let's go back to this view. Beautiful. Wow, what an amazing, beautiful forest. Let's do this one, and... Geometry nodes, dude, let's set that to 0.1. I should be able to control the seed, honestly, because if I don't, then you're going to have things stacked on top of each other. So let's do that. Cool. And then we can actually, nice, bump up the seed. So let's apply the scale. It's weird that it goes outside the bounds of the terrain, but that's fine. Apply the scale, and we'll do geo nodes, and we'll do this, and we'll hope our laptop doesn't break, and then there. Okay. So, I'm on play. What does that mean? What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean. Am I doing something stupid? This needs to be 0.01. I just need to make the seed the same. There we go. All right, so there is a nifty trick that I only learned recently. People probably will find this useful, so I probably should make a video about it. Okay, if we export this, not using my pipeline, but just for funds. And we go to the project. Include visible. Let's start with this, and it's not going to work, but that's okay. What does it mean? You said you are on play. I don't know what that means. Am I not? Can you guys hear me? Is everything good? All right. So what I want to do is I want to. Oh, interesting. Why did that folder come up? Addon is doing some wacky stuff. Right. Great. This is our perfect little scene here. And I just noticed, I just discovered why this guy's going outside. It's because that origin is not set and that origin is not set. So now we should be clamping to the terrain a little better. Okay, so let's bring this in. I don't actually want the pipeline on, so I'm actually going to turn that off. We're going to do that and re-import. And then that's why this came in, because of that import script. That's why. That's why. Okay, neat. Where did that go? Why is there... Oh, these leaves are still... Do I just need to export again? Something weird is happening. And I don't know what. Is there a way to turn off all modifiers just in the view? That would be convenient. Oh, why is that? Oh, this origin got messed up. It shouldn't have, but it did. Okay. We'll fudge it. No, I'm confused. What's happening there? The origin is in the right place. Let's hide. My laptop is blowing up right now. Let's hide that. What is happening here? Am I going totally insane? How is this not at the origin? I can see the origin here. I think we might need to clear the parent. Oh, clear the parent and keep transform. Reset it, and then parent it. Okay, sure. That's fine. All right, that's what I was expecting. All my instances are just right there in the middle. Texture on the train looks like crap, but oh, the timeline in Blender. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's probably my internet connection. Everything's lagged out. All right, so I'm going to do a short YouTube video on this in a minute, but there's a handy dandy trick you can do. I just need to remember how to do it. So in the export settings, there's this cool thing. Under data, scene graph. Well, first of all, there's the hierarchy, which is super useful. So full collection hierarchy has its own uses. But if we do this, I think if we export it, and pray my laptop doesn't explode. Let's see what happens. Laptop could be exploding. Not sure. Uh-oh, Godot is freezing. What did I do? What did I do? This is, if it works, we'll make it work in a minute, but there's a non-destructive way to get geometry nodes instanced. Isn't that cool? I mean, obviously nothing's really happening here, and the scene looks like shit, but I don't know. Let's actually turn this into a little scene just for shits and giggles. Let's do, was it call? Import hints? Let's see what our draw call's at as well. Why is that? Oh, this drives me nuts. Okay, we're getting a bug. This happens sometimes. And I think it's because the pipeline is enabled, so we're actually going to turn that off. Because I don't want my pipeline here. We're going to turn that off. We're going to try again. We're going to pray. We're going to close and reopen Blender. Try again. Well, why won't it export? There's something weird going on here. C, Godot, projects, pipeline, assets, instancing test. So we'll do that. We'll do visible. We'll do scene graph, geometry nodes, instances, export. It's really slow on this import for some reason. I'm curious what's going on here. I don't like, every now and then stuff in the import pipeline changes and I'm noticing performance getting kind of worse. It's one concern I have about Godot. It's like, yes, a lot of progress is being made, but like sometimes the prior versions that were simpler and didn't do as much were faster. But anywho, this is a lot of shadows going on here. That's crazy that it's all right, let's check out some stats. Let's check out some stats for this tiny little scene. Let's go info. We've got 1 million primitives. Wow. Okay. But 28 draw calls. So draw calls are super low. The primitive count is really high. So you would have to do lots of levels of detail on these guys. The question is like, can it auto LOD? Because Godot has lodding, right? I didn't want to import it again. Why is it importing it? Why is it importing it? And did I get my collision? I don't even know if I got my collision. I was supposed to. Because it has dash call now. Is it... There's so many nodes, see? This is where the node system kind of falls down. Random color variation. You could do that with a shader. You could do that with a shader. You apply a material to the nodes. I just don't know why it's so slow. I think it's because, look at this. There's 11,000 instances it's creating. So there's pros and cons to this. You almost want it to do the instancing with the rendering server. So it works, but you got to be careful, basically. Generate LODs is on. Okay. If true, generates lower detail variance of the mesh in the distance to improve render performance. Not all meshes benefit from LOD, especially if they're never rendered far away. Disabling this can reduce output file size and speed up importing. So the interesting thing about this is that because this is the forward plus renderer, and these are all, like, if I hit make editable, you're going to see there's 10,000 instances here, 12,000. Okay, and I did get my static body. There are pros and cons to this that I'm trying to weigh, actually, because I don't think I've ever done a test on this scale. I mean, this is not even a very big environment, but let's throw in a character body. Hey, Chad, what's up? Let's do I want a template. Yep. Give me that. Give me this. Sure. You know what? I have a character body. What am I doing? I have one in this project. I just need to drag it in. And I need to get some lights and stuff in the scene. So let's do add. Let's do add. We're going to simplify the shadows because that might be wrecking performance, but let's just do orthogonal. Wow. Okay. Where'd my shadows go? Is it because the distance is too low? It's too high. Ooh, neat. And let's turn on FXAA because, you know, got to get that sweet anti-aliasing. And what else do I need? I've got a character body in the scene. So I want to play this scene. So instance. Can I ask you a question? You can ask me a question. Sure. Why not? Set as main and run. And see what happens. Ooh, neat. We are in the forest. Wow. I want this full screen. I need to be immersed. I need to be immersed. And then we're going to take a look at performance. We'll see what this is like. Because this is rendering 12,000 nodes. And that's kind of a lot. And this sky color is really ugly. Can we change that? sky is procedural. Yep, yep, yep. The sky is, let's change this. Yeah, let's change it to something a little less saturated, a little more saturated. There we go. And a little brighter. I don't want it blue. I don't want it green, sorry. I want it bluish. And then bottom color, same deal. This is too desaturated. It should be like something yellowy. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Color grading looks weird. Let's fix that. I like the new stuff for the color grading. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I don't need glow on, but whatever. That's fine. Will this like absolutely tank my performance if I do SSAO? What does the difference look like? Let's drag this over. Outdoor scene, there's not much difference on SSAO, I don't think. I'm not going to do any, real-time illumination, anything like that. Okay, cool. What else do we want to do? We want to do... It would be cool to get a foliage shader on all this stuff. But I'm definitely getting sidetracked. Scale's wrong on the trees. I see that now. We can fix that though. The scale on the trees is way off. We can fix it. I want to do the color grading. Adjustments on. Let's do a... Let's look at this with this closed. It looks brighter here than it does here. It just looks very, I don't know, mute to me. Curve texture? Is that how this works? Let's try increasing the saturation a smidge. Maybe, what does 2 look like? Wow, okay, 8. Let's do 1.2, 1.4. Oh yeah, that's better. Maybe 1.5. Uh-oh. Cool. And shadows, they're almost too sharp actually. Let's fix that. So this needs to be 20, I think. Yeah, we want them a little bit smooth. Good old cube shadow maps are nice. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so finally I want to look at some performance stuff. Let's look at the monitors, FPS. I have 4 FPS. I think that's because I'm streaming. Is it? Or is it because I'm process? Why is my process all jacked up? Let me close that. Objects, 13,000. We've got a million primitives. It might be because... yeah, NVIDIA is hogging the frames. Oh, that's funny. So when my camera's on, let's do this. If I turn on, NVIDIA is hogging all of the resources. It's still hogging all the resources. Let's turn off the background filter. That is too funny. All right. So when I hide that, performance goes up. Good. Excellent. We're going to let the FPS run free as well. So we're going to do FPS, run, max is 0. I want to turn off VSync. Where is it? VSync is going to be disabled. So let's disable VSync and let's see. Okay, 130. I mean, I'm streaming. I'm doing a couple things. That's pretty good. And what kind of culling do we have? Let's put the Primitives drawn, objects drawn. This is good. Draw calls 44. This is pretty awesome, actually. Okay. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna do a video here. All right. I'm gonna hide the chat for this one. Yep. Cool. And I'm gonna put my face back on. All right. So I want to do a quick video just showing you how you can use geometry nodes in a non-destructive way and get them into Godot. So with the latest versions of Godot and Blender, there's like a really cool way to do this. But first, let me just walk through what's going on in this scene. I have a few things here. I have a ground plane. So that's just, a simple plane mesh that I've got a very ugly texture put on. And then I have a bunch of grass, and they're all using this geometry nodes shader. So it's a very, very, very simple geometry node setup. It has instance on points. It grabs it from the ground plane, and then it does this distribution thing. So I also exposed the density as well as the seed so I can control some stuff. But basically, if I come back to, I think I was in layout. If we come back to here, and if I turn off the geometry nodes, you can see it's just a single mesh right at the dead center of the map, and it's just got a few planes on it. So pretty well optimized. So I did this for a bunch of models that I grabbed. So we've got that grass, we've got this one, we've got some tree trunks, we've got some leaves, and we've got a second. I think OBS just disconnected, but I'm going to keep recording the video. I have no idea if I'm streaming anymore, but that's okay. Let's turn off the geometry nodes, and I want to fix the scale issue on these things. So what we can do is I'm going to scale this up by 2. Is my origin not right at the base? So let's go tree trunk. Oh. It's probably because I don't know why it's not scaling from the origin. That's a bit weird. It should be. Global, local. Oh, that works, but in that mode it doesn't. Okay, so let's just do this. We're going to scale 2. Yeah, scale 2 here, and we need to apply the scale. Otherwise, it messes up the geometry nodes. So we're going to do it to that tree, and we're going to do it to this tree as well. So that should be good, and we're going to apply scale on both of these and bring back the other stuff. Okay. All right. So this is going to be pretty slow. It's a pretty heavy scene. So I'm going to switch just to the object mode. And what I want to show you is that there is a way to bring this into Godot and maintain all of your, maintain all the instances basically, which is pretty sweet. So I'm going to actually delete this GLTF node so you can see there's nothing really in here, just a character controller, a camera, and we're going to look at some stats in a second. But what you want to do, so you have your scene set up in Blender that's doing a bunch of geometry nodes, cool stuff like that. If you go into export GLTF, first of all, find your asset folder in your Godot project, use the GLTF separate. I'm going to call it this. I always include visible. But the setting you want to use is under scene graph, and this experimental nodes instances setting. This actually works. I remember a couple of versions ago, it did not work. A couple versions ago, this did not work, but it works now. So if we export this to GLTF, it's going to take a second here. We get the import on the Godot side, and I want to show you what happens. Now, There's good and bad about this. I'm going to try to talk through what's going to happen. Every single geometry node here gets instanced properly on the Godot side. So it's not duplicating meshes. You're going to see there's very, very few draw calls, which is very impressive, honestly. It's because of how the forward plus batches draw calls. But we're still going to have like 10,000 nodes to deal with. So it's not that there's no performance hit. It's just that there's pros and cons. So if we drag this in, that's the wrong one. If I drag in the GLTF file, we actually get everything come in here. And just to show you what's under the hood, and this can get a little slow, so you need to be a bit careful with this. If you press editable children, you'll notice there are actually 10,000 or so, 12,000 instances of those geometry nodes. Now, the cool thing is that if you look at your statistics, you can see, if I zoom out here a little bit, there's a million primitives in this tiny, tiny little scene here. Lodding is enabled, so Godot will auto-lod this for you. It is set up in the import settings. I checked it. Generate lods is there, so Godot's going to do its best job to auto-lod at distance. Objects 11,000. So these are the 11,000 nodes, right? A node is an object under the hood. We have a million triangles, but only 34 draw calls. So this is very, very impressive. And once again, it's all because of the forward plus. Now, what I'm going to do, I discovered something that was tanking my FPS when I ran this test earlier is my actual video capture on screen. You can see my face on the video. That's NVIDIA doing a background removal. If I disable that and we run the scene, I'm actually going to close it in the editor so that we kind of minimize what resources we're using. Blender is also chill because it's just in object mode. If we run this, you can see we get our scene, which looks good. We have some lighting, but let's look at some stats. So the FPS is a bit low. I'm not sure why. I think I'm recording, I'm streaming, I'm doing lots of stuff. You can see if I turn my video capture on, it probably tanks. Yeah. And then when I turn it off, it comes back up. It's unfortunate it's doing this right now. A minute ago, I was getting like 200 frames a second. So might be something weird I'm doing. I might have duplicated some geometry or something. But you can see everything here. Looks pretty good. Our shadows, I'm just using the cube map shadows. So I'm using orthogonal shadows because it's a little bit more performant. But everything looks good. All of our instances are coming in right. Like I said, I'm not sure why my FPS is so low. Like I said, I'm streaming, I'm recording, I'm probably doing too much at once. But you can see some other stuff over here. So 8,000 objects. So we're not drawing the full 11,000. It means Godot is culling some of them, which is good. And we're below that a million primitive count as well. I have a feeling that it might be Blender, actually. So let's try closing Blender. Let's just close this, save and close. And yeah, there we go. So we're up to 95 frames per second. I imagine if I wasn't running OBS and streaming and recording, I've only got a 3050 Ti on my laptop, so no crazy GPU. But this is a surprisingly good workflow. Everything is non-destructive. I don't think that having this open is the problem. I think we can have this open. I don't think that is going to drag down the FPS too much. Maybe a little, yeah. But it's completely non-destructive. If we change things in Blender, we can export it and we get all of those geometry nodes come over. But there's pros and cons. If it were me and if I was doing this on a production game, I wouldn't have this instance nodes. I would probably write my own parser that would convert all of these nodes into rendering server calls. So we just remove the node, the burden of the nodes in the scene tree, right? So. But yeah, I wanted to share this because I think it's cool. I think people have been looking for a way to use geometry nodes in Blender for a while. And I think this is totally usable for creating scenes like this. And there's definitely a decent amount of detail here. If you scatter in some rocks and some more foliage and stuff on the ground, this is, basically a fully kitted out scene. Hi, it's me from YouTube. Okay, what's up? All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm probably going to finish up the stream here. I don't know if anybody else had any questions on the Blender 2 Godot pipeline stuff that I was doing. I'm probably gonna go offline soon and upload some videos. Yeah, you asked me a question, something about I don't have the bandwidth to work with anybody else right now. So thank you for your question, but it's not something I can really take on. But yeah, thanks for that. So okay, if nobody else has any questions, I am going to end the stream. Thank you for the people who popped in. I think it was pretty fun. We got a few things done. I will be streaming next week, every Wednesday